Mark meets Santiago Lucero, the Executive Creative Director at Fallon. Hi Santiago.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks.
Can you give us a quick summary of your career?
How quick?
1 minute.
Okay, I started working in advertising a long time ago, when I was like 17.
You don't look that old, so it can't be that long ago.
Yeah, I am old. I'm older than what I look. And I was 17. I started as an account person, working for Unilever, and then I decided that it was a bit boring, and I switched to creativity, or creative department, and my first job was in a local shop called Agulia y Bachetti that was quite hot at that moment. And then I spent a few years there as a copywriter. Then I moved to Young and Rubicam as a copywriter, senior copywriter. Then I moved to JWT as creative director. Then I was regional creative director at JWT in LATAM, Latin America. Then I moved to Mother to do the startup of Mother in Buenos Aires for 2.5 years. And then I moved to Spain, where I spent 4 years at Publicis as Executive Creative Director, and now I'm here at Fallon, and that's it.
So you started off as an account exec?
Yes.
And then you decided to become a creative?
Yes.
Did you have any formal training, or you just one day decided, okay, I want to be creative because it looks more fun?
No, I didn't have any formation on that. I just decided this is boring, I want to do something else, and I started to do my own ads at home. Every day I pick up the paper, I chose the worst ad, on my opinion, and I try to make it better. So I took the briefs from there.
So you had no formal copy training as such?
No. Experience, no.
What advice would you give to people who are maybe in a similar position these days in terms of maybe looking for a career change, or maybe don't have? Would you hire someone that doesn't have any formal creative training?
I think if you can train, it's better, of course. I'm not against training. I think it's great, and I'm sure that I could be better if I would have trained enough. But I think it's not fundamental. If you have it, great. And if you want to change your career, or if you want to start this career, I think training is good to learn, and it's also really good to meet the right people, to get into the market, let's say. If not, I think for people outside of the industry, it's hard to get into the industry. So I was into the industry because I was an account man, so for me it was easier to find agencies and people and pick up the phone.
So you had your foot in the door already?
Exactly.
Okay.
So, but yes, if you can train, it's better. And regarding being copywriter or art director or whatever, I think you have to be as complete as possible,
Have you always worked as a solo creative, or have you always worked as part of a creative team?
No, I used to work with partners, with one and with two together, so there was a time where we were 3 working together, and then I decided to start to work alone. But I like to work with teams or with a partner. But the last 7 years I've been working alone, with partners from time to time, but most of the time alone. Yes.
Do you think the value of a creative team is not as strong as it was years ago?
I don't know, because even though you don't have a partner, you always team up with someone, because I think it's really important to have someone to talk with, to confront your ideas and your opinions, etc., etc. Whether it is a planner or a creative or an account person or the CEO or anyone, or a client. I think it's really important to have someone. So in a way, I think it's a lie to say that I'm working alone. I don't have a proper partner, but I don't work alone.
you don't take full responsibility for a campaign, but you...
No, and if I'm writing stuff on my own or creating stuff on my own, I usually try to find someone to say, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? You know, so I use this person as a partner, perhaps for a day or for 2 days or for a few hours. You know what I mean?
Do you have good sketching skills? Can you scamp, or are you predominantly a traditional writer?
I'm quite good drawing, but I don't do this for work.
And how do you find, obviously you're writing in English?
Terrible. So I write in Spanish. No, I try to write in English, but of course I always ask for help to someone. So I try to come up with the idea, and then ask other people to polish it or refine it, etc., by writing it properly, or I use the studio here to do the scams, etc., etc. So,
but it's not a problem. You get around it.
No, I mean, no, I have no problem with that. I know my limitations. I know that my English is not great and it's not my first language, but I do trust in my idea. So again, there's a whole agency that can help me.
So you've obviously worked in a couple of different countries, a few different countries now, and that will suit some people's lifestyle. The fact that they have the flexibility and freedom to move around. Do you have family? How has it worked in terms of you moving around?
I have a partner, a girlfriend, a wife. We're not married, but it's the same. We live together for ages now. So, no, it's not that I have the freedom to move.
Does she come with you to?
Yeah.
So she moved with you to Spain, and she moved with you to London.
I met her in Spain, and
okay.
we moved here to London, and that's it for the moment. I have more freedom than other people because I don't have kids so far, but and I really like the experience to work in different markets. Even when I was living in Argentina in JWT, and when I was in Mother in Buenos Aires, I work a lot for other countries, for Brazil, for Mexico, for the Hispanic market in the USA, for the US market also, for Spain. When I was in Buenos Aires, when I was in Spain, I used to work for Latin America, what was weird, and I also worked for France and Italy. I mean, and I like to live the experience of living abroad. This doesn't mean that I'm going to spend my life jumping from country to country, but I enjoy it. I enjoy to meet new places, new people, new cultures, new ways of doing things.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's happened to you as a creative?
I don't know. Once I was telling this, we were catching up with the CEO of one of the agencies where I work, and the story wasn't that bad, my story, and the guy fell asleep.
Actually, full on.
Yeah. And I like to think that he was drunk or something like that, you know, but the thing was I was telling him a story and he was like snoring, you know, so that was quite embarrassing. I was alone, so I just embarrassed myself, you know, it was weird. Hey, wake up.
Fine. If you could work for any agency on the planet right now, obviously apart from Fallon,
okay,
who do you think who do you think you'd like to work for?
I think I would choose, even though I have no skills for that, I would choose one like AKQA or RGA.
Okay, so more digital.
Yeah, because I feel I'm interested in learning more about that. I mean, it's not that I don't have skills at all, but it's not my strong.
So even at your level now, you've got lots of experience and you've achieved a lot of things, won a lot of awards, you still feel like there are areas that you need to learn?
Yeah, I need to learn and I would like to learn. So, yes, I mean, yes, why not? I think it would be good to, at some point, to step back a little bit and say, okay, I have to learn about this, and that. I mean, I have to learn about a lot of things, but especially this, that is evolving every day and growing and changing all the time. I think these agencies are really good. And in terms of, let's say, traditional agencies, Wyden probably, I really admire Wyden in general, because 1 year is Portland, 1 year is Amsterdam, 1 year is New York, 1 year is London. Yeah. Wyden is good. And I really like Mother. I mean, I really enjoy my time there. in Buenos Aires, I think it was really good. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. What's been your biggest achievement to date?
Today?
Yeah.
It's hard to say. Because it's not that I don't pay attention to this, I give it importance, but I try not to focus too much on, okay, I achieved this, I achieved that. So nowadays, I'm really enjoying with this challenge. Yeah, being here, I think it could be my biggest achievement. Not only because of the agency, of course, but also because, I mean, living in London and coming here.
So the cultural changes, working in a London agency.
And feel that I am adapted to this and I'm trying to understand things, etc., etc. So I think this is important. But also be here. I mean, for me, I'm still feeling proud of being in my position in this agency. Yes. So I think this is it.
What's been the best brand that you've had the pleasure of working with?
The best brand? A few. One was Natura, which is a Brazilian cosmetic company, really responsible in terms of environment and sustainability, etc. And we did a project that I really enjoyed. And I really enjoyed a project I did back in Mother for Nike. For women, but I think as a brand probably Natura. Natura.
What are the main differences then for you when you're working in a London or UK-based agency compared to international agencies? Is there a difference in speed of work, in attitude, in?
No, I mean of course there are differences, but what I wouldn't say is that these differences are because one is in London, another one is in Brazil, another one is in Spain or in Argentina. I think the differences are because of the people inside this agency. So I think, for instance, here there's a lot of people that are even more Latin than me in their spirit, and there are people here that are Latin that seems to be more European or Anglo-Saxon than Latin. You know, so for me, it's not about the geographical place, it's more about your spirit, you know, the way you do stuff. Having said this, of course, here is more organized for good and for bad, and here is more methodic for good and for bad. And back in Latin America, it's more relaxed, non-organized, more spontaneous reaction, etc., etc. For good and for bad, depending on the case. So sometimes it's really good to have a bit of chaos. Sometimes it's good to be more organized.
How would you describe this industry in 3 words?
What the fuck?
Fine, I'll take that. Who inspires you creatively?
Who inspires me every day?
Yeah, like daily, but it could be people in this industry or outside this industry.
I think I'm really bad with names of people in this industry. Again, it's not that I don't pay attention to that, but I don't know the names of who wrote this, who directed that, etc., etc. I try not to.
Do you read Campaign every week?
No.
Do you read Brand Republic's website every week?
No, I do read Campaign, and I do take a look at all these things. Of course, I do that. But somehow I don't get the names. But I try to be inspired by as many things as possible. Of course, by advertising and by what the industry does in the world, but mostly for things that happen outside of the advertising agency. I don't want to say art because it's going to sound snob, and it's not about, no, I'm going to the museums, to galleries to find my inspiration. It's not about that. But there's so many creative, fresh stuff that people are doing on their own, you know, friends of mine or friends of a friend or just people you find in the internet, etc., etc. So I try to take a look more about that because my view on the industry right now is that we are stick to a model, to a way to do stuff, to certain I don't know how to say this, to certain packaging or ways to deliver messages, etc., etc. And the rest of the world, the normal people, are in a more relaxed mood, and I like this mood more. The projects I like the most are the projects that don't look as advertising.
Are you involved in the recruitment process for creatives in Fallon?
Yes, of course, yes.
Do you only get involved at a kind of senior level, or every creative that gets hired here?
Every creative.
Okay, and what do you personally look for in creatives when you're...
Exactly this. Of course I need to get some proofs or clues that this person or this team is going to be able to deliver a campaign, if we need a campaign or if we need something like a TVC or whatever it is. But I'm always looking for things, especially in the junior ones, to things that doesn't look like advertising, because we have time to ruin their lives. You know what I mean? To make them, to get them fit into the advertising. I think this is the easiest thing to. Okay, you're really smart, or you're really creative, or you're really fresh. Now, let's take this and that into consideration, and you can turn this thing into that. Some time ago, a junior creative told me something that was really good. That was, what I like about working here with you is that you are paying me for the things that in the other agency people said that was stupid. So for me, stupidity and freshness, etc., is really good.
And that's what makes Fallon different as well.
Yeah, what makes Fallon different is because they have a great story of really great success and really well-crafted projects, etc., etc. But I like to think that I'm trying to give a little bit more of silliness or stupidity in the good sense to the things we do.
If you weren't in advertising, what do you think you'd be doing?
Sorry?
If you weren't in the advertising industry, what
I would be doing?
Yeah.
What I would be doing, I have no idea. Probably I was fucked up, but I think I would love to be journalist. Yeah, I like.
Still something that's involved in writing and.
But it's most about mostly because of having the opportunity to meet people and to talk to people and to be involved in. I really like to watch the news of the world. What's going on and why is happening. So it's a mix of journalism and sociologists, anthropologists.
Okay, let's move on to a quick fire round. Can line or D&AD pencil?
D&AD, I guess.
Olympic gold medal or an Oscar?
Oscar.
Who's the most creative person that you've worked with?
Carlos Bayala, probably.
Who's the best looking person that you've worked with?
The models. We have a team here, we call them models.
The mothers.
Models.
Okay, models.
Catwalk models. Tom and Owen.
Okay. Creatives or suits?
Creatives and creatives in suits, I guess.
Money or happiness?
Obviously, happiness.
Apple or Android?
Apple.
Degree or no degree?
What that means? To have a degree or not to have a degree? Whatever, I don't care.
Okay. Art directors or copywriters?
I think art directors. I invite them a little bit. Yeah.
Retained work or pitch work?
I think retain. Good work. I don't care.
Web or mobile?
Web.
Independent agencies or networked agencies?
Both.
Outsourced production or on-site production?
Outsourced. No, insourced. Sorry.
On-site.
Yeah.
Okay. Don Draper or Roger Sterling?
Roger Sterling.
Interesting. Okay. And lastly, twist or stick?
Twist.
Thank you very much.